What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today's video, man, we're going over all the mods, all the vehicles, etc. in the 18th Airborne or 164 Milsim here on Armory Forger. I did this for a couple of the other servers I was playing on, but this is my new home server for a while, hopefully. So I wanted to show some love and show off some of the things. I think they have some of the best mods, in my personal opinion, just vehicle-wise. They're some of the best. And yeah, I'll go over weapons and uniforms in another video because there's a lot of them and there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about them with. But without further ado, let's go over all the vehicles that you have access to. So you have all the vanilla vehicles you have access to in the Milsim as well. But I will not be going over any of those vehicles just because I don't feel like they really are needed to go over because they're, been talked about, through the ages. So let's hop into Game Master real quick. We're going to start with the land vehicles. So the first two land vehicles we have in the modded section, obviously we have the regular medical Humvee. We also have the tan medical Humvee. We also have the command unit, tan and green for the Humvees. These are really cool because we don't have these in vanilla. In vanilla, we just have a command truck, at least that I'm aware of, which is pretty cool. This is like a command version of those. We have the JLTV unarmored tans. Obviously, the Russian team, which we don't play as in the Milsim, but they have the Russian team's gear, so that's all can be talked about in a separate video. But they have the black JLTVs basically. Next up, we're going to start here at, let's start at the Humvees. I think they're the most interesting because you're going to see these most of the times. So we have a Mark 18 Early War Humvee. We have a Mark M2HB Early War Humvee. So you're going to notice a lot of these early war and what basically these eras are is these tan vehicles are all Fallujah, Afghanistan, Iraq themed vehicles. So this entire section of vehicles you see that are tan, they're from the era that America was in during the early 2000s, late 90s. So when it says early, that means these are going to be early war. You'll take notice that a lot of these early war are very plain. They're very genomic, like how to say it, but they're very squarey. If you think of it like that, that's something you'll take notice. And as you go to the late war vehicles, you take notice they have a lot more curves. They have a lot more just different things on them that allow them to either counter mines, RPGs, stingers, etc. Next, we have the early war M240 Bravo. We have a early late war MK19 Humvee, a late war M2HB. You can see these look a little different than the ones from early war. We have a late war M240 Bravo. On the opposite side, we have a late war M1114, which is just basically a standard infantry Humvee. You'll see a lot of officers would drive these around because they don't have the turrets. It's usually what I would use them for if you ever see me drive around vehicles. Um, in my own personal milsims that I operate, I always use the non-chartered ones as officer vehicles. They just look better for that purpose. And then we have an early war version of that as well. We have an ammo car, which is just a Humvee for ammo. We also have just a troop transporter Humvee. These are, you're not going to see these too often, but they're there for anyone that wants to use them. We also have a regular troop transport slash supply Humvee right here, the M1097. And then we're going to get into some kind of the crazy vehicles. These are the kind of the crazy Humvees. These are the ones you see a lot of times in the ops, just because they look better. They're better for visuals, and they have also just a lot more things like smokes and anti-armor personnel vehicle protection, all that stuff. So we have an M2HB late. This is going to be a UAH. So you can tell the ones that are crazy usually have a UAH in the front. They're not just M1s. They're a UAH M1. So keep that in mind if you're looking for which specific ones you want to use. We also have a late war M240 Bravo. So there's gonna be three main types of vehicles you're going to see here. You're going to see 50s, M240s, and you're going to see the Mark 19s. There's going to be some vehicles that have SAWs and some vehicles that will have different types of machine guns on top. They might have like a 30 mil, 40 mil, whatever. So just keep that out. If you're looking for a Pacific one, make sure you're reading the description because they'll tell you what they have on them. The rest of the Humvees are right here. So we have the next one up is the Mark 19 late war UAH. We have a UAH M240 Bravo. a UAH M2HB, which I believe is an automated 50 cal. We have a Mark 19 UAH. We have a M2HB GMV. So these are light vehicles. These are meant for maybe you're just trying to get to a point as fast as possible. These are more lighter, less defense, but obviously quicker to where you're trying to go. We have a Mark 19 in the light, and then we actually have a minigun, an M134. So you can see that some of these have some insane weaponry on top. You just have to look at what you're looking for. And a lot of these light ones have M240 Bravos in the back. We have an M2HB GMV, and then we have a Mark 19 GMV. Some other vehicles we have is the MRAPs. We have the Cougar H. Now, I do want to mention the other video, I mentioned MRAPs, and I was calling JLTVs MRAPs. I don't think that's a big deal. A lot of people call them MRAPs too. But in this server, they do actually have these MRAPs labeled MRAPs, and those are JLTVs. So if you're calling for MRAP, make sure you're being aware that you're getting these, not the JLTVs. So anyway, we have a Cougar H MRAP. We have a Cougar MRAP OGBK. This is going to have I believe this is a 240 Bravo on it, I believe. No, it's a 50 cal. I don't know why it says 2 MHB. Oh well. We have a regular Cougar MRAP, and we have a OBGK, which is another one of those, but it's a little bigger. Up next, we have the M1126. This is going to be the whole family of the M1126s, so just, kind of look at these. They're all pretty much the same. They just have some different weaponry. But these are going to be like your APCs almost. We have that one. We have another one with a little more anti-RPG. We have another one, but this one has a machine gun on top. I believe it's a 50 cal. Then we have another one with a 50 cal on top. And we have the last one, which is a 50 cal on top, but it also has a javelin launcher on top as well. Up next, we have the JLTVs with the guns. We talked about the default one before, but now we have an M2HB JLTV, an M134, M2HB back here with the crows, an M134, which is a minigun. Then we have the Crows 2, which has, I believe, a 30 mil or 40 mil. I can't remember if this is a 30 or 40. But basically, that's what you have. And then we have the FFGM 148, which is basically the same thing as the one before, but this one has a javelin on it as well. Then we have this one, which is the Crows 2 AIM-92. This one's the same thing, but this one has I believe, a tow missile, I believe, on it. So I haven't used this one as much, but I do believe it has a tow missile, some type of missile for like anti-tank or whatever on it as well. Obviously, we have the 2 default LAVs as well. Tanks, we have 3 different types of Bradleys. We have the Olive Drape, the Murdoch, and the Desert Storm version of the Bradleys. We have 4 Abrams, 2 base M1A2s, and then we have 2 M1A2 Tusks. So we have a green and a tan. We have a green and a tan of the Tusk. Now, that's all the land vehicles to go over. Let's go over all the air vehicles. So air vehicles, we obviously have the 5 Hueys, base Hueys that we all know about. We have a Little Bird with the M134s plus the M260s plus A92s. We have a Little Bird with the M134s and the A92s. We have a Little Bird with the M134s plus M260s plus M299s. We have a Little Bird with the M134s and the GAU 19s and the M260s. We have a Little Bird with the M134s and the M299s. We have a Little Bird over here with the M134 and the M260. Just an M260 Little Bird. An MH, just a standard troop carrier Little Bird. The M134 Little Bird. And a supply Little Bird. So all those are all the Little Birds that we have. So tons of options for Little Birds. Next up, we have the Black Hawk Helis, and we have the unarmed Black Hawk, just a standard troop carrier. We have a supply transport Black Hawk with 2 miniguns. A medevac Black Hawk, a M134 times 2 Black Hawk. This is going to be a troop carrier with the miniguns. We have the Sour Black Hawk, which has 2 miniguns, but this is more for SEAL team stuff. This is actually what they use a lot in the Milsim because it looks better with the black. Me personally, I prefer this one right here, this Black Hawk. I think this just looks better. But in the Milsim, you'll see these oftentimes being the black one. Up next, we have the last Blackhawk, which is the MH-60 DAP Blackhawk, which is an FFAR. So this is going to have rockets and machine guns on it for the pilot to use, but this does not have infantry carrying capabilities. Next up, we have the Cobras, which has become my new favorite heli to fly for CAS. As much as I love the Apache, I just been having an absolute blast with these Cobras. These things are so much fun to use. So we have a standard Army Cobra, we have a standard Marines Cobra, we have a Black Cobra, a XM65 Army Cobra, a XM65 Marine Cobra, a Black Cobra XM65, and an Army M299 Cobra. We have a Black Cobra for an AIM-9, Army Cobra AIM-9, Black Cobra M299, a Marines Cobra M299, and the Marines Cobra AIM-9 as well. Those are the Cobras. I'm going to go into detail with these Cobras in another video. I have a video planned. I want to go over what Cobra has and what seats do what for that Cobra, and I'm going to do that for everything in here, including the tanks, all that, what they can and cannot do. But that's going to have to be separate videos because those are going to take for a while to go over. So up here next we have the Apaches. We have an AH-64D M261 plus the LAU 117. We have the AH-64 Apache with the M299s. This is actually going to be the best Apache for if you want to be a pilot and not have to worry about shooting and let your gunner do all the gunning, because the gunner has the 30 mil and it has the 16 Hellfires. So they have the entire arsenal is theirs. So if you're just want to fly and want to have someone do all the gunning for you, that's the one to go for. We have an Apache with the M261s, and we have the Apache with the M261 plus the M299 as well. I believe that's all the Apaches. Oh, I think I missed this one down here. So we have the Apache with the LAU 117, and I'm not sure if I said this already, but I'll say it again, the Apache with the M261 plus the LAU 117. So we have those Apaches. Chinooks, in-game, I believe the only Chinook we use is this one right here, the Block 2 Chinook. But there is a ton of other Chinooks as well. You have Marines, you have Royal Marines, all types of cool Black Hodge Chinooks in here, but I think they only use one Chinook currently. And then there's this helicopter that's in the files. They actually have a designated pilot for this thing, but I actually don't see them using it, and that is the CH-53E. This is a Marine Corps heli, so I haven't seen them use this quite yet, but it is in the milsim. And those are all the vehicles in this milsim currently. Obviously, like I said before, you have all the default vehicles as well. Oh, I actually almost forgot 4 vehicles, so don't mind me. We have the M270 MLRS TAN. So these are going to be missile launchers, and I want to go do a whole video on them again in the future because these things are actually pretty sick. And we have one more Humvee, or 2 Humvees left. We have the UH Spark Mine Roller. This is going to be from my anti-mine. And then we have a ANTWQ-1, which is a anti-air missile launcher. So this is for targeting anti-air. So very cool if you are interested in those. These 4 really don't get used all that much in the milsim. But with that being said, that is pretty much all of it. That is all the vehicles that I can think of that I see in the files here. Again, I plan to go over loadouts and how to use Bacon loadout in the future. That's something I'm currently working on because there's tons of information about Bacon that I did not know. Like you can turn your lights on and stuff. You can do strobe lights. All that type of stuff. There's so much cool stuff that I have to go over that I think a lot of people don't know about. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, if you're wondering why there's Russian flags, don't mind the Russian flags. They're going to be in the next couple of videos. I can't seem to fix them. For some reason, they're just spawning as Russian flags. Not too sure what that's all about. If anyone knows how to fix that, let me know down below. But yeah, future videos coming up. We have all of interiors and and all that stuff, the vehicles, and then also we have the entire loadout system, all the different guns, all that stuff being broken down in the distance as well. So, if you're excited for that, let me know down below. If there's anything specific you want me to break down or explain, let me know down below. I'm happy to. But with that being said, love you guys. You're awesome. You're kind. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.